Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tantra course follow-up, where in meditation this morning, I had some visualizations, some very funny visualizations actually, because, there's so much humor in life to mine from our situations. It's that when you are enlightened, truly, you simply have to laugh at life and the way we are, act towards each other, the way, it's just hilarious once like I see it like this, like the awakening is burdensome because you discover, oh, this is so terrible, But then the enlightening comes and you just have to laugh at the whole. It's quite funny. So anyway, we do have a live interview with Satan coming up very soon. And Megan will be interviewing Satan. I have to work that day, so I won't be present. I will be working. But Megan is quite competent, and she will get the best out of Satan for everybody. Now, yesterday, we did our private Tantra course, and we talked about some very, very secretive things about the art and the skill of Tantra between a man and a woman, and how, a woman handles her Tantra, how a man handles his Tantra, how a man is a woman while he's using his Tantra, how a woman becomes a man while she's practicing Tantra. And this is a very ancient secret art. Now, I know I got this whole mess of lines here, and this was born through this, relaying this Tantra synchronicity of degrees that we all hold within ourselves. And I talked about the eloquence of the speech of the universe, the speech of God, the speech of trees, the speech of puppies, the speech of man and woman, children, birds and bees, and all that good stuff. Comes down to the intersection of Tantra. Since Tantra, as you know, or may not know, is a quantified intersection of two. It is an equal and opposite, above and below. See, the below goes through the middle, You might think that the below is like down there, but where's below? Below is just a reference to what is above. No matter where you are, there you are in the below. You always have somewhere to look up, no matter where you are. In respect to, So if you're in the center, let's just say that you can be above and below at the same time. And this is Eden. This is the intersection of above and below. But you really have no reference when you're in the present. Because being this living, conscious dummy of a human being, we need a lot of help. We do. We simply need a lot of help. And, we were talking about this in the Tantra course. And in the follow-up live Zoom, thank you to the participants. I love every one of you for your very profound contributions. I want to talk about some of our conversations that we had, just to follow up with them. because there are some very profound, interesting comments made by some very innocent participants. These are people that, you know, they're not rocket scientists, they're not physicists, they're not scientists, but yet they're telling us all, you know, through their experiences in meditation, they're talking about physics, talking about visualizations of the way physics works, you see? And that's the way the mind works. The mind will communicate in eloquent poetry of symbols to the most innocent person that doesn't know anything, has no education. But yet then they're talking about this highly advanced system of vibration. And how does that work? Look, who has told this person about this secret science? Where does it come from? You know, if I said that the trees, I know you can't see the trees, but I can see lots of trees around me through the windows. You can't. You only have one view of me. But I'm a tree. I'm just like the tree standing out there in the ground. I share the same Tantra as a tree. I share the same, only a very significant different relationship with the sun. I am different than a tree in a way that gives me that free will, you know? All right? Even though I'm influenced by the wind and by the temperature, by the soil under my feet, by the air I breathe, still have this very significant free will deal. Nobody's ever really been able to explain. Describe it, yes, but not explain it. So, the Bible, for example, is a tree of knowledge. True. Bible is a tree of knowledge because it was written from the freaking principles of a tree. How is that now? How can the Bible be written from a tree? Because it's a sequence of revelations in the life of a tree that happens above as it does below, as it does below, as it does above. So a tree lives in perfect sequence to cycles of seasons, cycles of known events, solar events. Did you know that isotopes marked in tree rings can tell scientists about cataclysmic events? You know, they can take petrified trees and they can see that there were, you know, electromagnetic activity happening in a certain year or certain, you know, series of years in those tree rings. You know, a tree can live for a very long time. So they can look in there, and also they can take like very long core samples of ice, and they can see that in the different layers, they can see different activities through the sun. You know, this is solar activity. And the moon, lunar activity, of course. You can see in the trees, you know, if a simple craftsman will mark his trees, and then he will take his trees during a full moon. Well, he knows the tree is more workable. The tree is more pliable, if depending on what he's doing with this work. But he will work with the moon, you see? Right? So the Bible is just a tree of knowledge. It's a record of stories that will relay to a child's mind a different pitch of speech or language. Yeah. So you see, pitch. What is pitch? Pitch is an angle, if you're a carpenter, Pitch is a tone if you're a singer, right? Pitch is something that you keep your hull from taking on water. If you're an ancient boat builder like Noah, as he used pitch to keep the flood waters from coming into his vessel. So pitch, holding. Pitch is about holding tone, holding an angle. You know, what is the pitch of that roof up the road? It's like 412 pitch or 812 pitch. What are we talking about? Because pitch is held in the hand. So I say 812. What do you mean 12? 12 is that feminine measurement. Did I say 812? Well, 8 is the above and below measurement. You see? Every 12 it goes up 8. That is your pitch. That is your tone. That's the tone of that roof. So what I'm saying here, guys, there's different language holding the same pitch. So now we did our pitch mantra this morning, and we used 3 tones. Now, Sunday's tones were, you see, this is a holy degree of 12, or 60, rather. 60, base of 60. And that's all in your hands. That's the value of this universe is held in a human hand. And the Sumerians knew that, the Babylonians knew that. You don't know that, I know that, and the very few of us that practice and are in the know of astrotonality, we know that. We know that the frequencies, the secret frequencies that recreate the secretion frequencies, they're the secret frequencies that we hold in our hands, that we can play instruments with, because with our hands, play a violin. The violin is built from the basic Fibonacci secretion codes of this universe. Now, so yesterday we used 3 tones in Sunday mantras, and they go sun, 324, temperament, degree, 324 temperament. And then we come there to 120 or 12, down to the Tantra or love or Jesus or whatever you want to call it. It's just many words for same pitch. These are equilateral triad chords using these mantras. And what they do is they activate your pineal gland. So there's a pitch sent out to the universe when you activate your pineal gland. Because the pineal gland, if you want to understand what I'm saying, there are crystals held within your pineal gland. And what happens is a piezoelectric phenomenon. Now, if you're using an Om specific tone, try this as an experiment. Put your teeth, like just barely touch your teeth, and you can feel and hear your teeth clapping together. You can hear it. It's a tempo. It's a frequency. Om. And if you chant the tone of the sun or chant the tone of the moon or Jupiter, you can feel with the teeth barely touching, you feel that vibration. Okay, so your teeth are, made of enamel and other minerals, and you can feel the vibration going through your cranium. Now, the larynx is like this, It's like the symbol for 414. And as that fish, or that bladder of fish is the Vesica Pisces, as that gets smaller or gets bigger, the tone value the geometrical values will change, you see? And the vibration, the pitch that is sent to the crystals in the pineal gland will then communicate a wave, a different wave. That's a universal pitch. And that's how it works. It's by universal pitch. And that's where the light of God is shared between you and nature. The human being has a very special seat of that conscious presence, you know? It's a very interesting thing. But not everybody understands it. Now, there are, what would you say, Megan? It's about 75% of the population are blinded by the degraded mind right now to see truth, to see light. You can't see light. You can't see what I'm talking about. You can't understand what I'm talking about. You know? But there's a truth in the light of this world right now that's going on. And for certain few of you, you're seeing bare, pure truth in geometrical archetypal forms. And what you're speaking in telling us is pure secretion, physics of the world, and how God is actually speaking to us in a pure sense. Not through our muddied profanities that we've made of things over the years, like how we argue about this, how we argue about it. No. There's one truth, and that's what we're going to see at the end of the days. And it's now we're coming to that truth. So yesterday in our live Zoom, one of our members, she talked about a visualization that she had in a mantra meditation. And what she explained was she was placed looking down what she described as like a bottleneck. And as she looked down, she saw these different shapes. She saw a pentagram, she saw triangles, she saw a square. Okay? And she saw it. I think she said she's seen it going in and out. Did she? Is that what?
I think so.
I think so. But anyway, when she was telling me this, what I was hearing in my mind was the physics of sound in a tube. You've ever blown on a bottle? That's how, like, it makes a tone, correct? The reason that happens, I'm going to show it here now. Physics, I want to talk about physics and how we actually get our knowledge as innocent, ignorant human beings. When we start seeing clearly in our meditations, we see unbelievable things, and it is very interesting. So sine waves, if anybody is not in the know from an educational academia sense of sine waves and frequency and stuff like that, there's actually, you know, a very simple way to look at these things, you know? If you look at the infinity sign, that's a loop like this, right? That 8 is a signature of God. And that is basically a sine wave, okay? So it makes these, so you're looking at a two-dimensional view of the sine wave, okay? Now if you were to look down at this sine wave, look at this sine wave, if you were to look down at this sine wave with your eye, okay? Look down from that fish eye. See what I'm saying? You will see a spiral, okay? This is what we call a cross section. But if you look down, you see a spiral, spiraling out and spiraling in, or in-spiraling. This is how thought works. Thought is projected out, then thought is projected in. But it's transformed when it comes in. So if you project in a vibratory harmonic mantra, you will project and then it will reflect in, and you will receive a picture in your imagination's eye, which happens in the theater of your head, or Brahma's cave. Now when you look down, you see this spiral. Now in open-end fluid physics, what happens is that when wind is blown across this open end right here, what do you think happens to the air in this section? It becomes low pressure. It becomes low, and a vortex is created. A vortex that creates a vacuum. Now, you've got air pressure outside that is positive, and for the most part, we call positive balanced, correct? Balanced. Let's say that balanced is a 7.2 degree or 72 degrees temperature. You see, in water physics, the pH balance is 7.2. That's the power of hydrogen, see? So let's just say that the air has a balance of 7.2, let's say pressure, we're talking about pressure. And now inside this tube now, which is separated from the outside, air pressure. It's like the above and the below. Now you blow wind across this tube and you create a low pressure right at the top where the wind is blowing across and sucking air out through this tube, see? But right here at the very point, there's a low pressure. What happens is you can call it the ether, which is this tenuous fifth element. The fifth element is 72. Okay? So what it's tenuous or elastic. So what happens is this air from outside will rush in to fulfill this balance. Now understand this now, what I'm saying here. So while the balanced air gives to this low pressure to balance it, now there's an imbalance created in this tube. So what happens is the air forms a vibratory string. It's like now it is a contained, isolated column of air that will now conflict. Conflict is to reflect back and forth. So there's a conflict in the tube. It's a conversation of pitch. See, I understand what I'm saying here. This is secret knowledge, occult knowledge that you can take and you can use to awaken and enlighten yourself if you want to practice the astrotonal truth. So in this tube now there's a pitch. I'm going to use color to make it Negative is red. Positive is blue. So the blue positive rushes in to fulfill this. But what the blue doesn't understand or realize is that it leaves behind now another negative low pressure right here. So now you have the same situation here as you did here, because your air had to rush in so fast at the speed of sound. What is the speed of sound? 3.53 meters per second or something like that. Whatever. But there's a constant in the speed of sound according to pressure. In low pressure, sound travels faster in the medium of air. In the medium of wood, sound travels even faster, because sound has to do with relaying pitch. Okay? So in water, pitch of sound travels faster as well. So as this column of air in this open tube travels back and forth in conflict of conversation, it is male and female. You ever wonder why sometimes a man and woman can't get along or arguing? Because they're isolated in a tube together. They're one in the same, but a wind has blown across somebody's top or bottom. Creates a conflict. Tone. You hear tone. You say, oh, I don't like the tone of your voice. Why do we say that? Because it is above as it is below. It is within word, without word. Inward, outward. Man and woman copulate inward, outward. That's the way it is. They create a child of sound. Children, get this, folks. Children equals what? 438. What is the value of sound? 438. Sound. 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 Hear the sound from my mouth. Sound equals 438. Get this into your heads, that in word are the codes of the universe that communicates pitch. On one level, it is you understand the context of a word, you understand a phrase or a tone with a word in a different way or another. But in truth, there's only one true thing going on in this world. That is, the sound is coming from the above and the below oscillating together. And that's a upward and downward movement. And that goes in a spiral out or inspirational in. Feels good to go in. Also feels good to come out. Can't really make up your mind. But if you're in the present, 0 degrees Capricorn of 582, then you get your story 582 straight. So this is the visualization that this woman had yesterday. She doesn't know anything about physics. I know. She does not know anything about physics. But in her heart, she is a master of knowledge. In her heart. You see, as sound creates the children and the heritage. Heritage is 438. You see? Kingdom is 438. See, this astrotonal system is the gift of the world that only few will understand. You know? And as I said yesterday in the Zoom meeting, I said, I am richer than Jeff Bezos. And if Jeff Bezos said to me, I will trade you my life for yours, I would say, you keep your burdensome life and your big old ship that you can't get under a bridge because it's too big, you know. And you keep that stuff because I don't want that. I am the richest man because I'm the freest man. I'm the freest man in this world, in my mind and in my heart. I realize the narrative and the story of this world. I realize the relationship between God and man. You see, the real eyes comes from the sun, which is the king of the zoo, of the zodiac, of pitch, of language. So, very interesting session that we had yesterday, and thank you to everyone that participated in the private course. This is the follow-up, and thank you for your visuals. Thank you as well for noticing that the tonal pitch after the eclipse was consistent in each member. That was very interesting, wasn't it, Megan? Mm-hmm. That pitch was not relative, the same. You know, relative pitch means that you can hear and voice a tone based on what you're hearing. That's relative. It's relative pitch. But after the eclipse, for some phenomenal reason, nobody was able to tune into their tonal pitches. We had a great problem, you know, tuning into that. Any questions there or nothing? Got some negative comments. Anyway, folks, I just wanted to relay the physics of open-end wind instruments, which is, you know, like Genesis, it describes the open-end physics of wind instruments in Genesis, of how the world was created and how we inherited the world. Well, in Word was with God, then Word was God. You see, the Word, the English word, is where Jesus is coming to you, like he said he was coming in the clouds. You see, clouds is 444. Clouds. In English word is the 444. See? In English word, 444 is Jesus. There's also a cross. He went on the cross, he comes on the cross. Clouds, that's what he said. The Bible is composed in English word. Everything okay there? The Bible is composed of English word. And that's where Jesus comes to you, to your mind. Because Jesus was taken from the Greek word meaning fish. Correct? Yes. So the Vesta Pisces is the bladder of fish. And this symbol is the symbol of the hidden light. The astronaut symbol of the hidden light, where Ra is placed in the center of the basket of bladder of fish, the vessel of life, and you pull it out and it becomes enlightened. That's the way it works. So, anyway, thank you very much. I'm going to go enjoy my day now. I have a meeting to get to, and I hope I didn't miss it.